It fascinates me as someone in media that that's the angle they're going, because if I was in management, I would be saying, no. I would not be doing this at all. But that is the decision they made. We'll see how it works out for them. You got a lot of time to fill. And when you were you're not going to talk about a sport that's the only sport that's going on for a few months there. That's
Did you ever watch a Sunday night baseball game?
Not often, but it's programming. Like it's on, and then you have
and people
access
want
to the
live
players.
programming. Like
I'll tell you this: the World Series last year had triple the numbers in the NBA Finals.
Wow,
it was 15 million to 5 million.
There are a lot of old men in the world.
Yeah, look, I'm not saying their demographics are great, and I'm not saying to not talk about the NBA. I just see NBA ratings declining, and the MLB ratings being they are what they are. But in a big matchup, in a final situation. And you can't say the finals in the NBA last year was a bad matchup because you had one of the marquee franchises against one of the big stars.
Compared to Yankees-Dodgers, I mean, that's...
But who would be a bigger team to have in the finals than the Celtics? The Lakers, that's it? The Knicks, I guess. But the Knicks never make the finals.
Right.
So, I mean, the Celtics are... If it's not the Celtics, maybe two other teams would garner more of an audience. I don't think it would have mattered who played in that finals.
Probably not. A Yankees-Dodger against the two biggest markets and the biggest star in baseball.
It just proves that baseball can. My only point is it proves baseball can do it. A lot of people wouldn't believe you when you said that they had triple the ratings of the NBA Finals, regardless of who was playing. It just proves they can do it. I don't know how wise it is to ignore the sport completely.
Yeah, I'll say I have my best childhood friends are all obsessed with baseball, and it's rare because I do not pay attention to baseball at all. I do not have any interest, and I get it, right? But I do think it's when I was a kid, I loved Baseball Tonight, and when I hated when ESPN moved away from that, and for whatever reason, they see a more investment in basketball, which
is basketball because baseball is a fool's errand to talk about every day and to break down every day. It's just not. It is a fool's errand because the teams aren't doing that. Like the 162 games.
It's a lot. Even 80. Like I say it all the time. 82 basketball games. Last night, the post game show. I'm sitting there thinking, like, how are we gonna make this interesting? Like that Celtic-Toronto game was not one of the
I'll ask you this. Just say 82 games. Do you think after a loss in February, Missoula's kicking over Gatorade buckets and like yelling at the team?
So imagine game 112 in Milwaukee or whatever.
Because the most important thing in baseball is to forget.
Yeah.
You're failing at such a high rate. Like you have to be able to get over that. Like you can't sit there and it's the opposite kind of the NFL, where everything showing you film and like you look at you stupid, you completely you didn't pull correctly or da 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 da. Baseball, like if you sat there and showed someone, hey idiot, like da da da. No, it's got to be like, hey, I see something in your swing that maybe we could work on, like da da. You can't, or the idea of like telling a pitcher, stupid. Jesus Christ! You went out there 4 runs in the first. You piece of garbage. Like, well, I gotta go out there 5 days from now. Like this isn't good at all.
Yeah.
Or you give up a 2-run home run and then like Well, no. The mental part of it is I gotta forget about it. So like this. It's just stupid to me that you would sit here and you would analyze like every baseball game. It's not meant to be like that, and so. I'm not even talking about how much you cover it. I'm just saying just to turn your back on the sport altogether. I don't know if that's a wise decision. But there you go.
So last night you had the 2 of the 3 or 4 biggest stars in the game playing on the same team last night and going up against Dallas for the game was what it was. I think it was interesting.
Yeah, it was more competitive than I thought.
Yeah, that Doncic went out there, and I think it was his first triple-double with the Lakers that he's had so far. But we were discussing this earlier. Could the Lakers make any kind of noise in the postseason? See, Fred and Wallach dismissed him. We were up against it. I don't think they could play outright spoiler to a team and knock somebody out early, but I think they could push one of those teams in an early playoff round to more games than they want to play, and we've seen it happen to the Celtics in years past when they should be getting past Atlanta in 4 games, and instead they got to play 6 or 7, and it screws up a team's momentum in the playoffs. I think the Lakers could do that to somebody.
So I would go even further. When talent is king, and I know LeBron is 40, and I know it's tough to think he can do it every 21 different playoff games or whatever the case may be. But I don't know. He's been there. He's not going to be overwhelmed by the moment. I don't think seeding matters a lot. Now, it might just come down to Oklahoma City is supremely talented. Denver's got Jokic. Maybe they just don't have enough to compete with them. But is there anyone else in the West that you look and sit there and say, that team couldn't beat? What do you have the standings up?
I do.
What are they up to?
They're in fourth. They're tied for fourth with Houston, and they have the nod, apparently. But the three teams ahead of them, Oklahoma City, Memphis, and Denver, all have good centers.
Fair.
The Lakers have no centers. I think it was Jackson Hayes. They started at center last night. They don't have a good big man on that team, and I understand LeBron can do a lot of things, but he's 40 now. It's a little different. And you know this better than anyone. The matchups are what matters when you get to that point in the season. They don't have anyone to match up with Chet Holmgren. They don't have anyone to match up with Jaren Jackson. They don't have anyone to match up with Nikola Jokic. That's a huge thing over a 7-game series.
And it's weird, though, because they just played Denver and broke their 9-game winning streak. And that was
regular season. I'm telling
100%.
you, over a 7-game season, over a 7-game series, it's going to be different.
I would say if I'm the top teams in the West, if I'm Oklahoma City, I'm probably more worried about that matchup based on experience than I necessarily am if I'm Denver. Because Denver's just we've been there and done it too. We have a great mismatch with Jokic. But
at the same time, what Hardy says is probably true. Maybe the Lakers face Oklahoma City in the second round and push them to 6 or 7,
right,
and then OKC has to turn around and play Denver in the next round.
Not outright.
That's where the problem
Not
would be.
outright spoiler, but enough to screw up the narrative.
If the Lakers get Oklahoma City to a 7th game, I might take the Lakers in that. If Oklahoma screws around and goes to a 7th game with the Lakers,
it happened last year.
Then Doncic and LeBron mean a lot. I mean, then they've choked. And Oklahoma City's if it gets to a game 7, they've already choked.
And you see what these teams are capable and not capable of. And I know it's regular season, but what OKC did the other night with blowing that lead late against a good team that they wanted to beat and play well against
at home, by the way,
and couldn't figure it out. Yeah, I'm with you, Fred. Tell me what the odds are, and I'll tell you who I'm betting in a game 7 between Lakers and OKC.
I like them against. Well, I'll tell you the team I wouldn't want to play now is Golden State with Jimmy Butler, and you can say whatever you want, but they're not losing with them. And but I wouldn't want to play them. And you get into a game 7, and you got 2 killers. I again, it's the same scenario. If you take me to a game 7 against Golden State, I don't like that. They don't have the talent to run with Denver, Oklahoma City. But again, you screw around in one of those series and you get to a game 7, you're counting that team out?
Golden State's won 6 out of 7.
Yeah.
The West is, the bigger picture here is the West is tough, right? As much as I heard everyone screaming before the season, the East is so much better. You kind of look at the Celtics' path, and you feel pretty good if they're the 2-3.
Well, the Knicks aren't going to beat them because the Knicks can't beat anyone good.
Right. And then, first round, we'll see who comes out of the play-in, but I don't.
No one good's going to be in the plan because of the injuries with Orlando, right? And so no one good out of that. No one's coming good.
Orlando could, Orlando has been frisky against you, and their physicality gives you a little trouble. But again, I don't think
they're not going to beat you in a series,
exactly.
Right?
So it all comes down to Celtics versus Cavs in the East. Meanwhile, in the West, you're like, oh man, if Oklahoma City has to go through let's say where the Warriors right now.
Warriors are in a play-in.
So literally, they could be Warriors,
but they
Thunder.
won't be.
Yeah,
they won't.
They should surge up.
Golden State is 8th, and they're only a half game out of 6. So I didn't realize it was that close.
Golden State's going to not be in the play-in. I don't think.
Who drops? I really should just pull
Clippers. The Clippers.
No, not the Rockets. Rockets are playing well. Clippers are the only team. They're 5 games behind Houston for 5th.
Every team in that top 8 is a challenge to a level that the East.
Yeah, and Minnesota's 7th. By the way,
and Minnesota, everyone was everyone's darling last year. So the Western Conference is very difficult,
which is good for the Celtics because everything should play out where by the time
beat the crap out of each other.
Everyone's softening everybody up. Yeah. And hopefully...
Well, I will say this though, and I guess it's LeBron's decision, but LeBron is playing, and to his credit, is playing back-to-backs and is playing a tremendous amount of minutes. And he's like a superhero, obviously. but I am curious.
He'll ramp down in April, and then
because it's like Olympics. Then you're playing back-to-backs in the.
That's a lot.
He's playing an awful lot of basketball.
I think same deal. These guys know, especially the veterans, know how to pace themselves. And so last night, important game. Everyone was gonna go all out to show out in that game. But I think you'll see when the Lakers are slotted in a spot that they're comfortable in, you'll see the downshift. But Wallach, you're not wrong. Like they got some issues that they got to figure out. I just think it all comes back to talent sometimes. And like last year, I dismissed the Mavs a little bit. I was like, Kyrie, Luka.
Well, yeah. But that wasn't like dumb.
So.
That wasn't like a dumb thing like to dismiss. I mean, Dallas really had no business being in that NBA final. I mean, they didn't put up much of a fight.
I'm very happy they didn't have to play Minnesota or Denver in the final. I mean, I would have much rather Dallas.
Yeah, I wouldn't knock you. I wouldn't beat yourself up too bad about discounting Dallas in that. And what's interesting about Dallas is if they can get remotely healthy, apparently they're saying Kyrie has been like reinvigorated, that they showed faith in him, and he went off last night.
He had a big night.
So if they can get some of these big men back, that's the real story in the West. That's not who's winning it. Is like who goes further if Dallas is healthy, because the whole thing was obviously the Lakers are better in the future, but right now this makes Dallas the better team. We'll see.
I need a pathway to a Dallas Laker playoff matchup. It would mean
I'd even watch that. I don't know. It'd be on very late. But I would be very interested in that. I hate JJ Redick. I think that he's a piece of garbage.
You don't find JJ Redick pompous at all?
When he was, I will say, when he was talking, I saw the clip after they beat Denver where he was like, "Man, guys, I was so excited for this game, I couldn't sleep, and then I was over there doing my breathing exercises, and I was like, okay, just say like you were invested in this and you were proud of your
Whoa,
guys.
He has the Calm app. Imagine that. He learned box breath. What other ancient wisdom can he share with us? Did you put on a spoken meditation on the Calm app?
Jesus God.
In 4, hold 4, out 4, hold 4. Oh my God, JJ. What have you been to Tibet recently? What monk did you sit at the feet of and learn the wisdom? Breathing exercises. Oh, boy.
You can ask him that in person when you see him.
Or you could ask my son's AAU coach when he was in 6th grade about breathing exercises.
I would say Celtics-Lakers would be kind of fun. I don't think it's going to happen. The roadmap.
No, you don't want JJ Redick in the finals. Let's. But
then you'd stomp him, and then you'd get to be like, see what happens when
you don't want the Celtics stomping anyone in the finals. The Celtics for the basketball and for this town need to at least be up against it at some point in the playoffs.
Doesn't two in a row? I think it overrules any.
Yeah, but I'm saying in real time, dude. In real time, yeah. You want them winning a championship, and obviously
we
people
don't want them
that.
sweeping.
I don't. I need interest. I don't need them, rolling over everyone. I mean, that Cleveland series has got to be good. It would be nice. Look, the Pistons don't challenge them. The Bucks aren't going to challenge them. But I mean. If you're not going to play the Knicks. I don't know.
I love when people do the exercise with the East. They're like, "Oh man, this is Cleveland. That's it."
But there's not a scenario they would play the Knicks, right?
No, they would.
Second round.
Okay, so it would be second round.
The 2-3.
Okay, so
round.
2-3 would be okay. Yeah. All right. So
that's a 5-game series.
So Celtics, but Celtics Knicks at least. Because those New York fans.
Yeah, you get the juice a little bit. See. If you like that clip, check out more videos from Toucher and Hardy here. For more Celtics analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.